Guys, welcome to another installment of Into the West Comics, new comic book day edition. There's Sunny.
Hey.
Hey. Marcus and Paul are here. They raided their local LCSs and they brought their books over here.
Hey.
And I want to see what you guys are checking out. I'm going to start with, who wants to start? You want to flipboard?
No, you know what? I'm always starting.
Yeah,
first.
you always
go
start.
ahead,
You go
Paul.
first.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm going to grab a drink.
What you got?
So I have.
That's funny. Get me one, please.
Yes.
Nice.
One time I go first. No, I.
Damn, you look
So,
great. Your hair.
I've got
shining. Go ahead. Proceed.
I've got the empty.
It's my favorite.
I've got 3 books today. I'm going to start talking about Nightwing 104.
Excellent.
This is the issue before Nightwing 105, which is going to be the point of view issue with art by Bruno Redondo.
Oh, that's the one.
Tom Taylor is still fantastic. He writes incredibly heartfelt stories, and just the core of these stories is why we stick around for it. And Nightwing being an incredible person is why we're watching it. Or reading it, but it does feel
Feels like a movie.
It doesn't feel as cinematic as it used to. Moore is a great artist. He is not Bruno F. Redondo. I'm excited for Bruno to be back on interiors, at least for the next issue. But I think the story isn't quite as tight as it had been up until issue 100. But since issue 100, there's some really cool moments where Nightwing gets powers.
I was just about to ask that. Like, he's flying around in here. What's going on?
He loses them, but he goes up to the top of the atmosphere with Superman, and Superman, they have asked him to lead the Justice League or the Titans. And Superman's like, how much longer do you have these powers for? And Nightwing's like 20 minutes. And Superman's like, come with me. I need to show you something. And they go to the top of the atmosphere, and they're looking at the world. And Nightwing's like, I've seen it from the Justice League Watchtower before, but never like this.
Yeah.
And Superman's like, this is what you're protecting.
Oh.
And it was very cool.
Very deep.
Is that the end of this?
Yeah, well, not really. It's kind of like a little before the end, but I think the story that's going on right now is filler. I think it's waiting for the next arc, or waiting for some stuff to develop. But it's a little fillery with Neuron and stuff like that, and kind of past. It felt like a preamble to the Titans comic.
Sick.
But yeah, that's dope.
That's really cool.
That's the core of that story right there.
I don't know.
Let me see it. I'll put it on mine.
All right. Put it on. I was like, there it is. I'm like, oh, there.
But yeah, that's incredibly dope, and that's really like what you love. And Moore is a great artist. I would have loved to seen that in Redondo's, but he's carrying the torch well. And then the second book I'm going to talk about is 1036 by Batman by Chip Zdarsky, and there's a new artist, Brian Ortega.
That cover looks super cool.
I believe the name is, and I like this artist much more than I liked Hawthorne. I think Mike Hawthorne was on the last arc, but this is still no Jorge Jimenez. And that's why I kind of love when they don't like. My big issue with the issues right now, the issues with the issues, is that the artists have taken like a step down a little bit, in my opinion, but they are still very good, and Ortega's much better than I think Hawthorne was. But I'm seeing the vision from Zdarsky now. I'm seeing that the main villain in his arc is going to be Zur-En-Arrh, the alternate identity that Batman keeps locked away in his mind. Mm-hmm. That's the villain in this.
Ooh.
He's fighting himself because he is trying to take control from Batman.
Oh, wow.
And you find out in this issue that the thing that triggered Failsafe in the first arc didn't actually happen.
Oh.
And so Zur-En-Arrh is taking over, and Batman is panicked. And at the end, he's finally back from the alternate dimension. He's having a fun sit-down dinner with Nightwing, Tim, Jason's there, all the Bat family. And at the end of the comic, Batman's like kind of having a paranoia attack, and he shows you what he's seeing, and the entire table and all of them are in flames. And then the issue ends, and it's kind of Zur-En-Arrh taking control of his mind.
I'm not familiar with that part.
He's Zur-En-Arrh is a Grant Morrison creation, which is like, it's if anyone ever tries to mind control Batman or break him mentally, this persona will come out, and he still has all the ideals of Batman. He's not going to kill anybody or do anything like that, but he is more intense and crazier and is willing to do a little more risque things, kind of.
Interesting.
And he created Failsafe. Batman didn't know that failsafe was created.
Oh.
Zur-En-Arrh created it without his knowing.
Ooh.
So we got some Moon Knight elements here.
Yeah, I like that.
We're getting into the more
I
multiple
like
identities.
that.
more
And,
psychological.
there's a very cool back and forth between them where Batman's like, no, I can control you. And he's like, can you?
Can you though?
You seem a little worried.
Yeah.
Because I think it's my turn to take over. That kind of vibe. But this book is tying the last arc and the first arc together in a really compelling way. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about The Dark Knights of Steel, number 11 of 12.
Great
This
cover.
book has taken forever to come out because Yasmin Putri and Tom Taylor are so busy. But I'm going to buy the trade when it comes out and read it all at once because I love this story.
Nice.
I think the
cool.
White Martians and the Green Martians being involved, and Amanda Waller has Hellfire on her side, and they're about to go to war because the kingdoms all came together after they realized that it was the White Martians pretending to be the other people, killing their people.
Oh.
And Clark and Bruce are now together because you think Clark's a bad guy earlier, but he's actually a White Martian. And it's just a really cool and compelling story. And it's Tom Taylor. Just like in Nightwing, he writes incredibly cool, compelling moments.
It's crazy.
That
Bruce and
sounds
Clark
so cool.
are together for the first time since the whole White Martian thing happened, and Clark has learned that Bruce has powers. And Clark is like, can you do this? And Bruce is like, yeah. And he's like, can you fly? And Bruce is like, I don't know, I haven't tried yet. And Clark is like, oh, we'll throw you off the nearest building until you fly. And it's just fun little Tom Taylorisms
That's
like that.
Cool.
And it ends with Amanda Waller and the White Martians teaming up to take out the other kingdoms. The White Martian who's in charge, Prexo or something like that, he has a Green Lantern ring. He killed Luthor and took it from him. And it's just incredibly cool to see all these elements given to different characters. I love it. It's super dope. And those are the 3 books I got today.
Thumbs up.
I really enjoyed all 3
We'll
of them.
bring it for
That's
you.
super cool. Yeah, please.
You would dig the hell out of
That's
this
really
story.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. It's been a popular one. Definitely.
Definitely.
It's just taking forever to get it.
Yeah.
How long has it been
Like
like
2 years at least.
No way.
It's pushing that.
It's like the Watchmen stuff that was going on.
Yeah, it started coming out early on in our podcast, and it's still not finished.
No.
And honestly, it's the same thing with 7 Secrets. It's Tom Taylor, with Boom. It took forever for that. I don't even know if that's finished.
That's done. It was
It's
done
17
now.
issues. I think.
I stopped waiting after like 15.
I have all of them. I just got to read them.
I was just like, this is too much. I can't do it. So for
What you
me,
got?
for me, for those that don't know, we don't really talk about him much, but Charles Soule, he is a great writer. He's done a Daredevil run. He's done countless Star Wars. He's still on actually one of the ongoing series of Star Wars and Star Wars franchise.
That's cool.
And his indie comics are no less compelling. And one of the ones that we have the final issue of is 8 of 8 is 8 billion Genies. It's an Image title, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It started around this time last year, and it was a slow start. It really started to pick up in popularity once it was announced that it might be optioned. I think it was optioned for a TV show or something of that nature. So everyone came out of the woodwork and started buying it. We had it on the shelves back at the comic book store that need not be mentioned for a while and then it finally, once it got optioned, it kind of all of a sudden you couldn't find copies. And essentially the story is about all these genies. Everyone gets a genie, and they are allowed to have one wish.
Like the Fairly Odd Parents.
Essentially,
Just one wish.
just one wish. And as you can imagine, the whole world becomes chaos.
Of course.
You got people outside walking around. They have superpowers. You got dinosaurs going everywhere. You got half of the world looking like cheddar cheese. It was like craziness because everyone
gets a wish.
Adults, everyone has a wish. And so it focuses, the main story focuses on it starts in a bar, and we come to realize that the bar owner is actually a genie himself at the end here. And so what he does, as soon as the genie thing starts to happen, his wish is to protect the bar. So nothing outside the bar affects what's inside. So everyone essentially that's normal is trapped in this bar.
Right.
And you see some interactions within the characters and things like that while they're in the bar. Then some people actually venture outside of the bar, so they use their wish to protect themselves while they're outside and
cool.
and to take care of certain issues. We have everything from like a pregnant lady to musicians and things like that, and there's so many cool layers in this story.
I like that.
Because at first it reads like just a laugh out loud comedy, and then it gets deeper and deeper
you're like, oh, something's happening.
As people start to realize that, oh wow, I can wish for, let's say, person X to come back alive.
Right.
Like I lost my mother. I can bring her back.
Right.
So once you start seeing, more people thinking more serious about these wishes,
that's where the story kind of comes in.
Yeah, and it gets real.
Interesting.
And he compresses a lot in 8 issues. It really should be longer.
Wow.
I really wish it was longer.
I like that.
And so it ends with basically the last genies that are there. Whoever's the last genie remaining has to stay on Earth for the next basically cycle of humanity.
Oh wow.
So most of this final issue is watching this genie take on a human persona and go and journey through all of humanity. So he's going from like
Wow.
the Paleolithic period all the way to like different world wars, all the way from like dinosaurs all the way to present day.
Interesting.
To the bar.
I like that.
And then
and then you find out that that's the bar owner.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
So good.
I like that.
It's deep, man.
Okay.
So a lot of layers of the story. Absolutely amazing. Charles Soule, you really showed yourself on this one. Excellent.
Wow.
I recommend it. I believe the trade is out, or maybe I know it's coming soon. It has to. It's just a great one. So,
I like that one a lot.
Yeah,
That sounds really
definitely.
cool.
It went into 3rd and 4th prints. It was crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
And then the second one is Once Upon a Time at the End of the World by Jason Aaron.
Ooh.
This is
Jason Aaron's incredible.
He's incredible, and he has some great people. Nick Dragotta is even on here with some artwork and stuff. This is a great indie title as well. This is from Boom.
Oh.
And this is issue 5, so this is the end of the first story arc. The issue 6 has come out already. I've yet to pick it up, but I will. And the trade paperback is on it's already out, I believe, or it's coming very soon. And essentially, I've actually covered this before when it first came out, but it's a dystopic tale of basically everyone's gone. The planet is just ravaged and pretty much you have all these mutated insects and beasts pretty much roaming the land, and it follows a girl by the name of Esmeralda. She's called Mezzi, and she meets a guy named Maceo, a kid her age named Maceo, who's like pretty much stuck in a tower because below ground this is all flooded with toxic water and stuff like that. So he's found a way to survive and live up high,
Right.
And he's there's bridges between buildings and everything that he's that's been at least created either since his time or after, and it's incredible. And it closes, the story arc closes with him essentially they get separated, Mezzi and Maceo. And you get some backstory, and you find out the reason why she left where she was from, because she was part of kind of like a more like fundamentalist kind of group. They call themselves the Scouts. I forget what they're basically like fundamentalist Boy Scouts, if you will. And you want?
I already flipped through it.
Oh, you already? Oh, sorry, and yeah. So essentially, she's fleeing from that fundamentalist group that that's super trying to keep everything contained within their own little group. And that's how she ends up venturing out and meeting Maceo, and then Maceo decides to come along with her in her adventure. And yeah, just you see the story of them pretty much progress, and each issue kind of leaves off with kind of like a fast forward to what is actually happening present day, where they're much older, and he's like all beaten up and tortured, and he's able to he's actually kind of turned himself into a cyborg because he's kind of like an inventor. He would make gadgets, and he's turned like his forearm into like a gun, and he has like razors in his fingernails. It's just crazy. It gets gnarly. And so you see that adventure as as they're progressing together. And then this second arc, which is started, is said to be a time jump where they're older.
Oh,
and so
cool.
we could see them. They've kind of grown. They've kind of connected to each other now. She was very apprehensive. She didn't want him following her because of because he was still kind of naive, innocent. She basically wanted him to stay the way he was because she knew that he was going to be following a dark path. Following him. So
I like that. They're not capes, and I love when there's like indie stuff that is really compelling, and there's a story that you can. It could be a one-off random thing, and you're like, okay, that right there. So
upon flipping through it, it reminded me a lot of. Not necessarily story-wise, because I didn't really read it. I flipped through it, but artistically, it reminded me a lot of Once and Future.
Yes.
Cool. Oh yeah.
I like that. And it has very Book of Eli type vibes, because you're literally kind of like you see these two characters and they're basically by themselves and they're learning to grow together and survive together.
I like that.
Very cool.
Very compelling.
I like that comparison.
I like
actually, the Once and Future.
Yeah.
I'm going to go rapid fire because we got to get out of here.
What do you got?
I got a Flash 800.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's sort
cover.
of like a merging of the past writers that have been working on in the last few years. And then they're also going to be including Cy Spurrier, who's going to be taking over the Flash. He's going to be the new writer on the Flash when they start with like 801. I guess they're going to go to like legacy numbers.
I think they're going to do a legacy, but I think they're resetting the numbers.
Okay, so they're going to go to the Cy Spurrier is going to be the new writer, but Jeff Johns is on here, Williamson, Jeremy Adams. There's a bunch of guys collaborating on it. It's cool. It's a really fun issue. It's sort of like giving you kind of like a sneak peek as far as where they're going to be going with Cy Spurrier writing the Flash. Sounds just crazy to me. Yeah. So I'm interested. I may have already added it to my poll. Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty. We are coming to a close with this whole symbol of truth is the Sam Wilson one, but this is Steve. Sentinel of Liberty, they're going to be moving towards a close with this. Big 750 is going to be the issue for Captain America as they draw to a close, and they'll be starting over a new Captain America. I think in October they were starting a new run with that, and then finally Steelworks. I mean, I took a shot in this. I mean, I really enjoyed the artwork. Dorn is writing this. It's like it's fun because I didn't really know what to expect. It's kind of like when I picked up Cyborg or Green Arrow, I didn't really know what to expect. I picked it up and I really enjoyed it. Also want to mention a couple of things that are being solicited. Like they're going to be doing either, I think it's not a new Black Canary series. We're doing a new Birds of Prey with a Black Canary led. She's leading the team. Cool. Birds of Prey, that'll be coming in the fall. Remember, Night Terrors, all the DC titles are kind of taking like a 2-month break.
I'm so excited for all that to come out, dude.
Everyone will be kind of like in a 2-month break, basically, with a lot of the main DC titles while they do the Night Terrors whole storyline. One thing that's going to be picked up, we all like Mark Waid and what he's been able to do with World's Finest. He's going to be doing World's Finest Teen Titans. I may or may not have gone hard in the paint with that. I did a pre-order. I wanted those covers, man. Like Samney and all. The covers are ridiculous. Samney. So I did go hard in the paint. So I've got Teen Titans World's Finest for you guys.
Please,
when we when that comes out, about a month away. We're about a month
Is more art on that?
The interior is. It's Wade for sure.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check because I had.
We'll look into it. The artist on that Captain America one, Sentinel of Liberty, Lansing. He's the artist on Guardians right now. I love him.
Oh yeah,
he's dope. Yeah, his art is dope.
Yeah, and it's gonna be written by the 750 is gonna be written by Onyebuchi and Kelly. They'll be co-writing the series, and I don't know who's writing Cap after that.
Interesting.
So
they're actually Lansing. I've seen him pop up in a couple of things, so they're kind of stretching a lot of their current writers out. Because kind of like with Jason Aaron, or with any of the ones or Jed McKay, even like now he's writing multiple books, and
lots of stuff.
McKay feels like they're Taylor.
Is doing Avengers, right?
Right.
Yeah. Avengers is good. So
I like
it. Emanuela Lupacino is going to be doing the art.
Name sounds familiar.
She's worked with Mark Waid on some of the Batman interiors, Batman and Superman World's Finest stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah.
Oh,
nice.
I know what issue you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think when Dan Mora was off for a couple issues, I think
her art was good. It's not Dan Mora, but that's hard to do.
And you got covers by Sam. I want to show you these covers. They're like ridiculous.
Great.
But guys, these are our suggestions. We're not saying they're the right picks. Just there are picks. So go ahead and head down to your LCS. Let us know what you're reading and what you've been checking out and what you're looking forward to. We're in the middle of the dawn of the DC. We've got all kinds of new stuff. It's kind of like pilot season. You can check in check out, see what you want, and all kinds of new starting points with what's going on with the DC universe. So you guys can be checking that out. We hope you have a great evening. Be on the lookout for more videos coming out over the next few days, and we'll talk to you guys soon. We love you. Go read some comic books.
Yeah, the West. Happy reading.
These are exclusives.
What was the same dude?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Good
Bye.
night.